One, two, three, and...
Trying to use the trees to block the sun, but I was attracted to the shine on these Oregon grape. I believe that's what they are. We got some rain last night, much needed rain, and I like the shine that we're getting off of the wet foliage, and we're shooting into the sun, kind of causing some interesting contrast and backlit trees. But these highlights on this wet foliage really is creating an interesting depth and texture that I think is kind of cool. I think this could be an interesting black and white subject because we do have an interesting amount of contrast. It would be nice if the sun went a little bit behind some clouds or a little bit of clouds just to kind of tame it down just a little bit, but I'm not complaining. It's not clear by now in the video. I'm doing my photography this week in just little pieces. I really only have about an hour in the morning to take a walk and see if I can find something on that walk. So I thought I'd just do a photo every day, Monday through Friday this week, and see what we come up with. I might come up with more than one photo on a given day, but the same amount of time is put into these photos. I don't have a lot of time to spend shooting photos. Sometimes I don't have all day to go out and make pictures. So we're just gonna go out and use the time we have. We're gonna walk our little pathway here, and if we see something, we'll make a photo, and then we're gonna head home. In a recent video, I had talked a little bit about this 105 lens, and I wrongly identified it. I was assuming it was an AI or AIS lens because it works on my cameras. But after looking closer, I realized that this is even older than what I thought it was. This lens has been converted to AI. So this lens is actually pretty old, but I guess it's good enough that someone decided that this should be converted to AI to use on the more modern cameras. I guess I have a good one here. It has been working quite well on with this Sony camera. The official identification of this lens is a Nikkor PC Auto, pre-AI, converted to AI. So I thought I'd clear that up. And no matter how you put it, it actually works quite well. It's quite a gem. This is going to be a pretty simplified composition, probably smack dab in the middle. Trying to minimize the depth of field. Switch to a 55mm macro. But what drew me to this little daisy is it's got a grass stem sticking up through the petals. Kind of breaks up the pattern a little bit. And then we've got a lot of crossing lighter stems below it of grass. But yet it's darker down below too, so I think there's going to be good separation. Well, I just learned something. If you're a Sony user and you adapt lenses, this is some information you might be interested in. So, Sony, in their menu system, they have a auto lens distortion correction that you can turn on or off. And what I found is, if that's left on and you're using native lenses, like my 20mm, it really destroys the sharpness of the image. With my last outing with the 20 on the Sony camera, I thought, man, this lens doesn't seem to perform well on the Sony. Why is it working so much better on my Nikon? And I had a feeling that there might be something going on with lens correction. I did not expect that it would be something on the raw file, so I wasn't really that worried about it. I just thought, well, maybe this lens just doesn't do that great on the Sony. But when I turned all that off and did some test shots, I found that the lens looks just like it does on my Nikon. It looks great. So it was a painful lesson to learn, but I'm really glad that I've got that figured out. So just a little FYI for you if you are a Sony user, and just be aware that you may need to turn off in-camera lens distortion settings so you get a better image. I would imagine it's not going to be an issue with native lenses. I think it's just because I'm using non-native lenses. The camera doesn't really know what to do with the file, and it's just overcompensating and just smearing the file on the edges. It's mostly out on the edges, overcorrecting. So now that I've got that turned off, I expect to have much better results. Pretty breezy out here today. Everything is really moving around. I happen to use pretty high ISOs to get fast enough shutter speeds. Well, this week I don't have a whole lot to show for myself. A couple of the images I made this week, a couple of the photos I made in my front yard. Just went out my front door. I didn't have a lot of time. I just appreciated my garden. Sometimes I take that for granted, and made a couple black and white flower shots that I kind of liked. Just right out my front door. This kind of showed me that even if I don't have a lot of time, it's still worth looking for a photograph. Not everything has to be a photo expedition. I'm going to try to find one more frame before I head home. This isn't going to be my typical video. I just thought I'd try something a little different this week. If you like coming along on my photography journey and would like to help keep me out making photos and videos, consider picking up one of my zines or visit my PayPal donation page at my website ridenetsphotography.com. Most of all, don't forget to like and subscribe, and why not leave a comment introducing yourself. I'm always interested in who stopped by my channel to say hello. So until next time, thanks for coming along for the ride.